Hello girls, gays, and non-binary babes. Welcome or welcome back to my channel. Today we have one of the most anticipated videos of the year, my top 10 favorite books of 2021. Unlike past years, I do have a ranking of sorts, so I will be going from 10 to number 1. I am so excited to talk about all of these books, and I cannot wait to share them with you, and I hope you enjoy this video. So yeah, without any further ado, let's get into it. I am warning you right now, the first book I have is very basic white girl of me, but it did not feel right to include this on the list, so we're gonna mention it and then move on because I don't think you need to hear about this book anymore. But in the 10th spot, we have A Court of Silver Flames by Sarah J. Maas. Yes, like I said, very basic white girl of me, but I do think this book touched on incredibly hard topics and did it really well, and that's why I loved it so much. I think it was very emotional and raw, and the journey that Nesta has gone through is very hard and different than what trauma looks like for a lot of people, and I think that's super important to talk about, and I think it was done really well in this, so that's why it is at the number 10 position. So yeah, A Court of Silver Flames by Sarah J. Maas. For the rest of you that did not click off, we have two contenders for the number 9 and number 8 spots. They're kind of tied because they feel the same in my brain. The first one being The Hollow Heart by Marie Vertkowski. This is the sequel to The Midnight Lie, which was my favorite book of the year last year. I believe it was my favorite book, and this is the sequel, and I absolutely adored this. But as it is with many of my very highly anticipated sequels, I read it in like a couple days and then forget what happened in it completely. Like I feel like it's that way with all of my anticipated sequels, so it's just so weird. But I know that this one was incredible and completely knocked me out of the water with how well done it was, and I just love this series so much, and this was a perfect sequel and conclusion because it is a duology. So yeah, I loved this. Also, a moment for this cover, I mean, come on. But yeah, The Midnight Lie, if you didn't know, follows a girl who is growing up on, it's basically this city that there's a lot of like mystery surrounding its history. Nobody seems to know where it came from or what their history is, and our main character, Niram, lives in like the lowest class, and it talks about her life and her unraveling the mystery of this city. And it's sapphic, it's incredible, one of my favorite romances of all time, and I adored it. So yeah, this is sharing the spot for 9th/8th place. The other book sharing that spot is another highly anticipated sequel, and that is When Night Breaks by Janella Angelis. This is the sequel to Where Dreams Descend, which was, I think, my second favorite book of last year. I can't remember, but it was definitely up there, and this was highly anticipated. And just like The Hollow Heart, I read it in like a couple days. I tried to savor this one, it is a bit longer, but I read it in a couple days and promptly forgot everything in it. I do remember some things, but I know it was freaking incredible and blew me away. And if you didn't know already, Where Dreams Descend is like a Moulin Rouge retelling. It's got magic, it's got a romance to freaking die for, and it's got a lot of dark fantasy elements to it. But yeah, easily one of my favorite series of all time, and just so incredible. So yeah, this is tied with The Hollow Heart. In 7th place, we have a book that I still do not have the finished copy for, but that is Nothing But Blackened Teeth by Cassandra Khaw. This is a novella and the first book of Cassandra Khaw's that I have read, and it'll be the first of many because I am obsessed. So this one in particular is kind of a Haunting of Hill House-esque story about this group of friends who are staying at this haunted mansion in the Japanese wilderness. I believe it's the Japanese wilderness. But anyway, two of the friends are getting married and the rest are there to help celebrate. And things kind of go awry and tensions boil over. There's things that have happened with this friend group before, and we don't really know what they are reading it because, you know, it is a novella, but it was so incredibly done. It was so scary and freaky and I loved it. And yeah, I definitely need to get my hands on a finished copy though. So yeah, I need to get to that. But yeah, this is number 7. Number 6, we have one that I never would have guessed I would have read this year. Never in a million years. But number 6, A Dowry of Blood by S.T. Gibson. This is, I guess you could call it, I guess, less of a romance, more of just like smut. But it's also like a romance, but it's an anti-romance. And by that, I mean it's about a group of people who were in love at some point. They're all Dracula's lovers, and our main character is writing these letters, and from the very beginning we're to understand that she has killed Dracula and she's writing these letters to him essentially. And it talks about like a toxic romance, and it's really dark and, like I said, smutty. But yeah, I freaking love this. I love gothic stories, so I think that's why I fell in love with this so much. And also because it's not really a romance so much as it is an anti-romance. So I really loved this. Incredible writing, incredible everything, but I know a lot of people are talking about this one this year, so yeah, just so incredible. Next up, we have a book that was another highly anticipated one for me this year, and that is The Poison Heart by Kaylin Barron. This ticked every box for me, and that is why I loved it so much. There's mythology, there's a little bit of witchcraft, there's a family secret, it's in upstate New York, there's a sapphic romance, there's plant magic. I mean, literally ticking every single box, and I freaking adored this. So this is a story about our main character who ends up moving to upstate New York because she inherits a house from her aunt, and like I said, there's a family history, family secret here, and she has to figure out what's going on. This was so incredible. I freaking loved it. It was amazing, and everybody needs to read it because it's just so freaking good. Coming in at number 4 is a very unexpected yet expected book, and that is My Year of Rest and Relaxation by Ottessa Moshfegh. Yeah, we're going with Moshfegh. So this is quite something. Kind of hard to explain why I loved it so much, but this is about a girl who is very privileged. Basically like privileged white girl living in New York City, you know, seems to have it all. But she's very depressed and she's got a lot of issues, and she decides one day that she wants to take as many different medications as possible and try to sleep for an entire year. Which sounds like it would be boring, but it's really not. And this is so weird and raw and unexpected that I really just fell in love with it. And I really appreciated the way that depression, I guess, was shown in this book as something that like was not glamorous at all. Like, it's ugly, it's horrible. It was just so well done, and it's definitely becoming popular for a reason, and it's just incredible. So yeah, this is number 4. And at number 3, we have Braiding Sweetgrass by Robin Wall Kimmerer. This is the best, hands down, the best nonfiction I read this year. It is the only nonfiction on this list, and it is something that I think should be required reading for literally everybody. This talks about Indigenous people and how they view the earth and how they view nature and all of this different stuff. The little, like, I guess, subtitle here is Indigenous Wisdom, Scientific Knowledge, and the Teachings of Plants. And especially now with climate change and talks on how we're treating the earth, I think this is definitely something that everybody should be reading, because there's nobody who has ever treated the earth better than Native people. I think this is an incredible, incredible book, and once again, it should be required reading. It completely changed my life, and I just don't think I'll ever be the same after reading it. So yeah, that one's number 3. And number 2 is another really unexpected one, if you know me. But we have The Love Hypothesis by Allie Hazelwood. Yeah, this is kind of like basic white girl again, but I'm okay with it, because this was so freaking good. I don't read romance usually, and the reason I read this was because this was sent to me, and I was like, okay, not usually my taste, but I guess I'll, you know, I'll give it a try, whatever. This was so freaking good. I don't want to talk about it long because everybody and their freaking mother is talking about it, but listen, it was just cute, okay? Like, can I have that? It was freaking cute, and it was good enough for me to rank it number 2 of the year. So yeah, this is about a girl who is getting her graduate, she's a 3rd year PhD candidate. Don't listen to me. She's a 3rd year PhD candidate, and she has a fake romance with one of the professors at her school. Overall, it's just really freaking cute, and I freaking loved it. So yeah, number 2. And drum roll please, the best book I read this year. They Never Learn by Lane Fargo. I can't freaking believe I read this year. I really thought I read it in 2020, but anyway, best book of the year, baby, and I freaking mean it. This is incredible. It's a masterpiece. Everybody needs to read it. It's so freaking good. This is a dark academia about a woman. It follows 2 women, one of which who is a student at this school, and it talks about her life and the things that happened to her. The second one is a professor at this school, same school, professor at this school, who is taking it upon herself to kill off all the shady dudes, the dudes who are getting away with things that they shouldn't be, basically. Lots of trigger warnings in here for sexual assault and all that kind of thing. It is a revenge fantasy. It is very dark, but also very good for her, and I loved it, and I cannot put into words how much I loved it, and I definitely need to reread soon because and to think that I never would have picked this up if it weren't for somebody just randomly mentioning it in my comments. That's insane. But yeah, best book of the year. That's it, folks. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk. Yeah, that is my list this year. Please tell me your favorite book of the year down below. I am dying to know. Oh my gosh, I'm dying to know. But yeah, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Bye-bye.